All right. Well, welcome everyone to this year's Virtual Inclusion Summit. I think we can start off by giving everyone a just huge round of applause because you're here. Good morning. Hats off to you all. Thank you all because even though we're in the midst of a pandemic and some of us are learning from home, some of us are learning from our schools. Inclusion is still alive and thriving, and it's all because of you. So I wanted to welcome you all with a question, and the question is, what is your vision of an inclusive school community? And so we want you to take some time throughout the day and your time to add to our community Padlet. The link is on here. You can go to bit.ly/inclusion include. I can't read today. Inclusive Vision 20. Also throughout the chat, it's open for you all, so you can feel free to click on it and type throughout the day. Today we're going to be hearing from some amazing students. We're going to share with you all some activities that some of you have already started in your schools, but we're excited for you all to learn about them and take them back to your schools and really expand what inclusion looks like for your school. So next slide. And so today we want to welcome you all with the video that we sent you all on Monday.
Hi, welcome to National Inclusive Schools Week.
We are Nora and Jackie from PI, and we're so excited to have you talking about inclusion in your schools and how students with disabilities can enhance your school communities.
It's especially so important these days when we're all in so many different locations and we're all learning in so many different ways. Have a great week.
Enjoy and have fun.
That's right. December 7 through 11 is National Inclusive Schools Week. What makes this week special is that schools from all over the country will be celebrating and having conversations around inclusion, and we want you to be a part of it. Every year, the New York City Department of Education works with Parents for Inclusive Education to plan our annual Inclusion Summit, and this year we're doing it virtually. Over the past few months, we've worked with students and teachers to come up with sample activities to help you and your school get started. You can access these activities at bit.ly/NYC Inclusion. On December 10th, schools from all over New York City will come together virtually to celebrate. So make sure that you're a part of the conversation. Post things on social media using the hashtag NYC Schools Inclusion and join our Flipgrid to share your work with other schools. If you have any questions, you can always email us at inclusionsummit@schools.nyc.gov. Remember, the time for inclusion is now. So with that, I want to introduce Christina Foti, who is our Deputy Chief Academic Officer overseeing the Division of Specialized Instruction and Student Support, to give us some opening thoughts and remarks to set us off for the day. Christina, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning, Jose.
Good morning.
Are you able to see and hear me, or?
We're able to see and hear you.
Wonderful. Good morning, everybody. Good morning and happy National Inclusive School Week. My name is Christina Foti, and I am the Deputy Chief Academic Officer for the Division of Specialized Instruction and Student Support. I couldn't be happier to be here with each of you today. This week is so important because it reminds us every year to take pause and reflect on our accomplishments around inclusion so that we can plan for our future. In my role, I have the privilege of meeting with people from all over the world to talk about inclusion. In most of those talks, one observation that people are sharing in the year 2020 is the importance of the word inclusion. Many of us have been away from each other for a long time now, and days like this remind us about the importance of being one community. As we think about ways to come together, we need to remember to ensure everyone is included and feels like part of our community. As educators, we are always working to make schools more inclusive, but I always say that we need your help at each and every school because we can't do it without you. Understanding that this work cannot be done without you gets to the true spirit of the disability rights movement and the phrase, nothing about us without us. So thank you again for joining. Thank you to those who will be sharing today. And let's make sure that we go back to our schools in person or virtually and let everyone know that the time for inclusion is now. Thank you and have a wonderful day. And thank you to our partners at PI for making this possible every year. We are so grateful for you.
Thank you so much, Christina. I want to kick it over to one of our partners and member of the planning committee, Erica. Are you there? Can you?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. So thank you, Christina, for those remarks. And we're excited to hear, especially from the students today. We want to take a few minutes to set up what you're going to see today. And the work that you're going to see is an effort that took a lot of collaboration between some key team members. You've already heard about our collaboration with PI, Parents for Inclusive Education, and Jackie and Nora from that team who you heard from were a big part of creating the work that you're going to see today, along with our planning team from the Department of Education, Jose, Becky, and Ruchika. This year, we also did something new. We had an inclusion advisory group, which included student and staff volunteers from the Department of Education and other collaborators. And we want to thank those team members. We had students Josh, Maya, and Nava, and from the DOE, Mike, Susan, Ngozi, Sam, Robert, Marcy, and we also had Shireen collaborating with us. So thank you all. We worked together because we knew we needed to create something that was going to look a little bit different this year from what we did in the past when we talked about our summit. In the past, the summit was a time when students and staff got together to work on inclusive activities and have conversations around building more inclusive communities. This year, because of the circumstances, we decided to work with our committee to create materials that could be sent out to schools for them to use as inspiration and to get them started on conversations around inclusion. So what I'm going to do for the next few minutes is just take you through what our committee and our planning team worked on to share with schools so that you could see what schools had to inspire them for the conversations you're going to hear them share with us today. After I take you through what we shared with the schools, you'll have the chance to hear from some amazing students and school communities about the work and conversations that they've been engaging in. So I'm going to take you through the materials that were sent out to schools. Just like you guys had the chance, those of you who are on the line at the very beginning, to engage in a warm-up activity, we shared that with schools as well as an opportunity for them to have conversations and get those discussions started, first as a staff team and then with students. So the Padlet that you guys saw at the beginning, I'm going to show you right now because I've already seen some amazing things coming through on this Padlet as students and staff from various school communities share their vision of an inclusive school community. And as you guys add on to this, you'll see your comments come to the top there. So we have things like everyone feels safe and welcomed, a school that welcomes you, makes you feel comfortable. In classrooms, students have multiple ways that they can answer questions, show their work, and demonstrate their learning. You could see it goes on and on down to the very bottom here, and we hope that you'll continue adding to build this community of thinkers around creating these inclusive school communities. So we wanted schools to have the chance to start the conversations with this brainstorming of their inclusive vision. We then shared with schools a little bit of background about why we're here having these conversations, a little bit about Inclusive Schools Week and the Inclusive Schools Network and what we've done in the past with our summit and how it was going to look this year. So we shared some background with schools. We shared with them that the Inclusive Schools Network promotes Inclusive Schools Week each year to celebrate inclusive school communities and encourage conversations around future work that needs to be done. We then went on to share the theme that the Inclusive Schools Network came up with for the year 2020. This week's theme is "The time for inclusion is now," to stress the urgency now more than ever of building more inclusive communities. In a year that will be remembered for stressing the importance of social distancing, it's more necessary than ever to come together in other ways. The Inclusive Schools Network also noted the connection between the urgency evident in this theme and the tie to conversations around other topics, such as social justice. This year, this will be a huge part of leading the work that we have ahead of us. Lastly, as we provided some background, we shared with schools that we will not be hosting an in-person summit as we did in the past, but that instead materials were being shared with them that would allow them to engage in important conversations around inclusivity and come to this event today to share their thinking. And we're going to get to hear from those students and school communities in just a few minutes. So here's what we went on to share with the schools. Some resources from the Inclusive Schools Network. So if you go to their website, there's a lot of information that talks a bit more about the theme and what inspired that theme. There's also some resources in their celebration guide to help schools create teams to start planning the work that they would do ahead. It also has a really long list of celebration activities. It suggested activities for facilitating conversations and work around inclusion of all students. And then there's also places to even shop to get some swag and download images just to build the excitement around Inclusive Schools Week. So we wanted schools to have the chance to explore those resources. But what we really wanted to get to and have them look through were some selected activities that were inspired by that list from Inclusive Schools Network that we worked with that committee and our planning team to really develop and blow out for schools to be able to have materials to work with and dig into with their students to really have these conversations. So I'm going to briefly show you what some of those materials look like, and then we'll hear how students and schools were inspired by them. So for 3 different categories of activities, Think Like a Teacher, Relationship Building, and Let's Get Political, we shared a description of the activity, some templates of materials that they could go on to use, and then ideas and recommendations for implementation. So the first category that I'm going to explain to you were our activities around this idea, Think Like a Teacher. So the goal of this activity is for students to have the chance to discover more about the different ways that students learn and then suggest ways that teachers can engage all students using this knowledge. Using this activity, students will explore learner profiles, learn about universal design for learning and accessibility, and spend time looking at a variety of engagement resources to take notes that will lead to this teacher tool. By having a better understanding of all of the different types of learners in the classroom, we will be building more inclusive classroom communities. So what a sub-team of the committee did was develop this idea, but then also create a lot of materials that schools could take and start using right away to implement this in their schools and in their classrooms. So a guide of sort to implementing these activities around Think Like a Teacher as we just shared it. And then we went on to explain some ways that they could think about implementing it and recommendations for the ideas. So you'll have the opportunity to link to this document at the end to explore these ideas further if you haven't seen them, so you could see some of the resources and the implementation ideas and recommendations. The next category of activities that we shared with schools was this bucket of activities around relationship building. This is a compilation of activities designed to help students make connections and build relationships that will lead to more inclusive communities. Components of this activity included a 5-minute friendship circle, guest speaker connections, and school and community development work. So for the friendship circle, which was targeted for elementary schools, there were some resources for teachers to establish a 5 minutes for friendship ritual each day for students to pair up in rotating partnerships, all going back to that idea of building relationships. There was also some information and resources here about guiding students through planning, researching, preparing, executing, and reflecting on inviting a guest speaker with a disability to speak with the class and then use the learnings to enhance inclusive understandings, really to build, again, that relationship and those connections. And then there was also some thinking around school community development, which included guidance for schools to develop student organizations to enhance inclusive communities. So just like with the last idea, we included materials and guidance on each of those. So on each of these links, schools would be able to link to resources that they would be able to take right away and use in their schools to see that idea come to life and have students do work around those ideas. And then again, some implementation ideas and recommendations as to how schools could use it. So some suggestions for schools. And again, we hope you'll take the time later to read through this in more detail as you think about ways that this could connect to work that you're doing in your schools. And then the last category of ideas that I'm going to share with you is this bucket of let's get political. The goal of this activity is to have students engage in activities around an issue that has negatively impacted inclusive and welcoming communities and get political to make a change. Students will work to build awareness in their communities around these issues, as well as reach out to leaders with suggestions to resolve such issues. Classrooms had the opportunity to review and use and adapt the inclusive terminology guide for people with disabilities from the Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities and think about how to use that in their schools, classrooms, and communities, and or develop a letter writing campaign to reach out to elected officials about another inclusive education issue that concerns you. So we again provided materials, some of our things from our summit last year, if you were there, around language, and also the inclusive terminology guide for people with disabilities and some organizers to start thinking more about language. We also included information about how to reach out to elected officials so that schools could use these and classrooms could use these to start making those connections and reaching out to those elected officials. And just like with the others, some ideas about how to implement those and some suggestions on how to use those, along with possible next steps for the activity to continue building those in their school communities. We encourage schools to have fun with these activities and make them their own. So we were providing these resources as a jumping off point and a place to start conversations, but we wanted schools to really make them their own and make them meaningful for their students. And lastly, we shared with schools their next steps. So we encouraged them to start planning to use these and engage in the activities throughout this week for Inclusive Schools Week and beyond. We created communities for Flipgrid and Padlet to tell us about experiences, and of course, really encouraging them to join us today to tell us about their work. We also reached out to ask to keep that work going and come back in May to tell us at our expo how those conversations would be going at the school communities. So that's what we shared with schools. Now we want you to have the chance to hear from schools about how those conversations went as they started the work this week. So we're going to have a school share out. I want to first give a shout out to this image that we have with us. This is from a 9th grader, Joelle. Thank you for sharing this image with us as we start our conversations and hear from schools about their ideas on inclusivity and what those conversations have been like at their schools. So to start out our school share out, I want to introduce Nava. Nava has been a part of our advisory group. She's from Bard High School, Early College, Queens. And she has some thoughts to share with us today about her experiences engaging in this work. So Nava, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Erica. Hi, I'm so happy to be joining you guys at this year's Inclusion Summit. This is my first time doing this. I'm Nava Barenpour, and I'm a current sophomore at BSEC Queens, and I'm also a member of the DOE Inclusion Advisory Group, and we've been putting together like a lot of awesome resources for schools to like kind of implement activities that promote inclusion. And the specific team that I was on was called Relationship Building, and our work was focused on, I guess, mentorship and able-disabled integration in schools across the city. So some of the ideas that we had and proposed and sent out to schools included elementary school friendship circles, which Erica mentioned. It was kind of designed for like kindergarten, and yeah, and then we also thought about like things like such as an interdependent system where general and special ed students like kind of interact and learn from each other. And I feel like that's so kind of like best buddies, but a little more codependent and not fully like teaching, but kind of like this two-way mentorship friendship thing. And yeah, so all in all, our goal is to make a more tolerant student body from an earlier age. So that's kind of like where the friendship circles come in. And yeah, because the social and emotional skills that children learn from an early age are the foundation for how they interact with other people, especially those that are different than them. So that was kind of our ethos with making those, with wanting to implement those things. And my school of Bard Queens, while it has a long way to go, we've done a lot of work to improve on inclusion-based issues. So like, for example, a faculty member at my school recently told me that until last year, or even this year, students with IEPs couldn't take a language class when they entered BSEC. And a lot of families expressed their disdain to the admin, and that action of speaking out created a lot of positive change. Now students with IEPs are able to take language classes when they enter the school. And I feel like that's kind of that's kind of where it all begins. Like, you have to reach out, and then the admin, they'll see something, they'll do something, hopefully they'll change what they're doing. And last week I wrote a letter to the BARD administration explaining Inclusive Schools Week and the work that my team's been doing. And it got passed on to the Abled/Disabled Alliance, and that's a group at BARD that ensures representation for students with disabilities. And as a result, I will now be volunteering with this alliance and working harder to implement the changes that me and my team are so passionate about. Our next speakers are students and faculty from the 17X and South Bronx Academy for Applied Media. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nava. And thank you so much for kicking it off and really setting the tone. So yes, as Nava said, our next speakers are from 17X and South Bronx Academy for Applied Media. Good morning, students. Are you with us?
Good morning. This is Miss Morrison here.
Hi, Miss Morrison.
So we went with the activity about feeling included and what makes them feel included and what makes them feel unique. We try to focus on self-love since they can't get outside much. They're a remote class. So if you scroll down, they're here, so they'll read. So you have me, Miss Morrison, the three paras, Miss Petty, Miss Francis, Miss Santi. Other way. Yeah. All right, Brandon's not here. You can go to the next one. So you have Edward. He feels included when he reads books on Epic. He likes not to be late. He likes to do all his work. He's a little shy, so I'll read his. But the next one, you can go to the next one. Christopher, go ahead, Chris.
Hi. Hi, Chris. So, my unique qualities about me is that I'm good at video games. I am actually good at video games, and I'm good at a lot of sports like baseball. I'm also good at soccer, and there's a bunch of other sports that I'm good at, like volleyball and stuff. And then I have blue and blonde hair. I like having blue and blonde hair because it's unique, and it's sometimes people don't like it, sometimes people do. So I feel included when people don't scream at me, and I also feel included when people don't bully people. Like what I mean about that is that I just don't like people getting bullied, because I've gotten bullied before, and it feels really bad to get bullied, and I don't want anybody ever getting bullied, and I don't like to feel left out, because like that's one of the worst feelings you could possibly feel, and bullying stuff like that. I just don't like bullying, and yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Jair. I'm not sure if Jair was here. Jair, are you here? Okay. You can go next. We have Idris. Idris is here. You want to share your slide, Idris? You have to unmute yourself, Idris. Okay, maybe not. Next. Esther. Esther was here. Esther, are you here? Okay, next. Lewis is here. He's next. Go ahead, Lewis. We just you feel included when?
I feel like included if like they if I give like if someone wants to be their friend, or if they want to play with me, I feel included when I'm having fun with like someone that I have known for like a long time.
And you're
And yeah. and I also want to like focus on like on my career and school. I also like to focus on like participating and doing all my work, all my homework and all the work that they send me.
Okay. And what do
And
you want
also,
your career to be?
huh? Huh?
What career do you want to focus on?
Like being a YouTuber, that's it. And I also like helping other people and getting help when I feel like I need help.
Good job. All right, you can go to, you done, Louis?
Huh?
Are you finished? Okay, next slide.
Yeah.
Zyshawn, I'm not sure. Zyshawn, are you here? Shane. Next is Christopher. Christopher is here. Go ahead, Christopher.
So I feel included when someone feels empathy for me or connects with me and stuff. Um, I also feel included when someone listens to me or what I'm going through, like listen to my problems. And last but not least, I mean, I feel included when someone includes me like in activities like you're doing, like you chose me to. Um, and I like helping people and stuff. And I like listening to someone's like problems and stuff. And I am an artist and I like to paint and stuff. And I did an artwork piece for Miss Gold for a bullying, as you can see in the picture. I am done.
Thank you, Chris. I believe that was the last one.
Great job, 17X and SPAM. Thank you so much for sharing your perspectives on inclusion and sharing to us what helps you all feel included. I love something that Becky dropped into the chat that says, when it comes to inclusion, we all have our vision and our story. So that's just a reminder for me to drop into you all that the chat is open. So if you have any reactions to anything any of our students are saying here today, feel free to in the chat drop a great job or any of your reactions. So thank you so much to students of 17X and SPAM. And we're going to move on to our next group of students, which is 372K, the Children's School. And I believe Frank is here with us.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm going to turn it over to our incredible team. I see teachers, Miss Emily Stutz and Miss Aida Minsky is on with us. So I'll defer to them to lead our teams. We're so proud of you, Children's School.
Hi, so we're really excited and honored to be here, and we're going to hear from 3 students from our 4th grade remote class. The work that you'll see today is specifically focused on Dyslexia Awareness Month. We've been trying to build on existing movements and frameworks for students to be informed and connect to people that they know and are interested in learning more about. And so we focused on like celebrities or other famous people with dyslexia or other related learning disabilities, and use resources like understood.org. And so we'll start with Anjali. Are you ready to share?
Yes, I'm here. But sorry if you see my tag has a different name. I've just put that in just because. Okay. Wait. Why is it just frozen on these slides? Oh, I see.
Do you need the next slide?
I don't think we have slides from you guys. Do you want me to pull up something?
I think we have a document, but whoever's presenting is going to need to stop because we've got documents on our own.
Becky, I shared a link with you just now. I'm sorry, I didn't get those to you ahead of time.
No worries. What we can do is we can bring our screen down, and then Anjali, you can just talk to us and read off of your document.
Okay. So the title for the document is Dyslexia Awareness Month, a a study on dyslexia and similar learning disabilities. So, Daniel Radcliffe, actor for Harry Potter in the well-known movie series Harry Potter, has suffered because of dyspraxia, which means it's hard for him to do things like tying his shoelaces. Even though Mr. Radcliffe has dyspraxia, doesn't mean he can be stopped. Most people with things like dyslexia or dyspraxia have a disadvantage that impacts their lives, like that someone makes a slight mistake in reading the script or the shoelaces are slightly crooked. People will also have advantages. For example, Daniel Radcliffe is an amazing actor, and when people like him come over challenges, they don't give up after one or two tries. They persevere. You may be concerned for people with disabilities, but it doesn't mean that you have to feel sorry for them all the time. Most of the time, you may just be hanging out with a friend and they have some sort of minor disability. They just live lives like other people and want supportive friends. Now that we know about this and similar disabilities, we should accept them and treat people fairly. In our school, we should merge other sites together. That way, we are more inclusive and accepting. And that's it.
All right, thank you so much. Go ahead, Miss Stutz.
Video?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can we switch to the video? Is that okay?
Yes, Erica, in the chat, I just sent you a private message to the link. If you could share that for us. The joys of virtual meetings, everyone. While we're going there, Anjali, I'm saying into the chat, folks are saying, amazing job, great job. So well put and wonderful. Bravo. Everyone is just giving you some amazing virtual applause and a lot of thumbs up. Luis put in some thumbs up emojis.
Sorry, because I was sharing my screen. I'm not.
No worries. And I believe what we're about to see right now is a pre-recorded video, right?
Yes. So this is on the same subject matter, but a different student sharing who preferred recording ahead of time.
Jose, I'm not seeing it there. Can you email it to me? And is there another student that is also speaking, Ms. Stutz, that you want to go first while I pull that up?
Sienna, go ahead.
I chose Steven Spielberg because he made something that I liked. He overcame his dyslexia by reading even more. And because he read what he wrote, he had the talent of writing and directing and producing. My lesson from him was if you have a problem, you can still review what you have troubles with, and maybe that can be your hobby.
Thank you, Sienna.
Great job, Sienna. Folks are writing in excellent job. And then, oh, I think we have the video. It's a video from Izzy, right?
Yeah, I have it now.
Perfect.
Hopefully this works. Okay, let's try it out. Can you guys see my screen?
We can see it.
It says I need access.
Oh, no. Let's see.
I just requested access. If you guys want to give me access to that.
Do you have it? Do you have it up, Miss Stutz? If we could just give you access to share your screen?
I do. Yep.
All right, let's do that. That'll probably make it quicker.
Great.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You might just have to click so we can hear your audio and.
I learned about Henry Winkler. He has dyslexia. His parents had a word for him. That means scum, but he is not scum. He overcame it. He wrote books, and I have one. If something is hard, you should keep trying. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you for sharing that video. All right, and as we
sharing my screen now.
That'd be great. And so, thank you, Anjali. Thank you, Sienna. And then I know Izzy didn't come on camera, but thanks to Izzy as well for sharing and sending the video. And so, feel free, folks, to drop in your chats and your thoughts into the chat. So we're going to move on now to our next school, which is 233Q and Queens Metropolitan High School. Good morning, 233Q.
Good morning. Good morning. We're welcome. Thanks for having us this morning. I have my student Isaac with us. We're going to talk about some of the clubs and programs we have at our school. So greetings from 233Q at Queens Metropolitan, and Isaac is going to take it away.
Hi, I'm Isaac Eller. I'm from Queens Metropolitan High School. We have a super inclusion program, and some of the highlights of our inclusion program are no bullying, students take trips together, students work in groups together, clubs are open to all and everyone is included, and clubs that we have joined and enjoyed are Video Game Club, Buddies, and Council for Unity. One of the clubs that we have enjoyed is Buddies Club. In Buddies Club, we play games together, bake, socialize, do arts and crafts, and hang out with each other. I'm part of this club called Council for Unity. In Council for Unity, we do fundraising, selling t-shirts, raising money for childhood cancer, helping each other, and working together to create new ideas. One of the things I love about this school and the club is that the people are very nice to me.
Oh, thanks for having us this morning. We really appreciate everyone whose efforts go into putting these events together, and we're always so happy to be a part of them and to learn from you and to contribute. So thanks again, and have a great day, everyone. Enjoy.
Thank you so much, Isaac, for sharing some more about your school. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And so we're gonna move on to 226M and Pace. And I think this is one of my favorite students who's gonna speak today, right?
I'm here.
Hi, Jaden.
Hey. How's everybody doing?
We're all doing great. Excited that you're here with us today.
Excited to be here. Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Jaden, and I am from 226M at Pace. With my classmates, Christian, DeAndre, Ray, and Jeremy, and our staff, Miss Terry, Miss Leslie, and Miss Maria. We have spent a lot of time this week talking about inclusion, what it means, and of course, the power of language. For me, think about inclusion, I think about how I was in the past and how I achieved what I did. All I did was take baby steps, learning who I was. It wasn't as fast as, and I wasn't as fast as other kids back then. Even that, it was hard for me to get through what I had to achieve like that, like even now. To be honest, like just because people don't look like they need special help doesn't mean you shouldn't volunteer to help them. And this is very important to me because I went through this. And my message to people like that is like disability or not, what really matters is that you're always yourself. And one of my classmates has written a poem that shares what we talked about and what we feel. Here's DeAndre.
Hello, everyone. My name is DeAndre, and my story is about motivation. So, for the introduction to my story, I know that I'm not an open-minded person, which is that I really am in person. But I'm really a person that who likes to decide, that likes to go outside. I like to ride city bikes, hang out with friends. I like to do a lot of outdoor activities. I like to work out the gym. I especially like staying home and playing video games as well. I love music, the nice weather, to travel around. I'm also just a person that loves being alone for family at all times. Due to the fact that I'm old enough to make my own decisions and I want to work hard to work on other stuff that doesn't involve being with family. I dream to become a writer and a gamer. Every day, everybody wants to be known for who they are. I know that, but the epitome of what people needs to learn and what's to know how other people started off from nothing and started to get out there. But if something happens, let's just say that the world doesn't accept you for who you are and you're ready not to become big. I say that we have to put our negative thoughts aside and put motivation. Also show that you are what.
Keep reading, keep reading. Just move away a little bit from the other thing. Just keep going. Just move away. Keep going. Keep reading.
Put our negative thoughts aside and put motivation. Also, you know that what you are can be, not the world. This is what I mean when I say that you start off from nothing and you get out there and you start off with a positive mindfulness. Next place, please.
Give us a second. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Erica, you might have to reload the deck.
While we're waiting
Yeah.
with some tech difficulties, this is Becky here, and I've been monitoring the chat and just wanted to give a little summary of some trends that I'm seeing here. So everyone is really enjoying the real life stories that we're hearing here, whether it's coming from the students and their personal stories or sharing stories of others and celebrities and how these stories can be used to break down barriers and to teach others and to make connections, and how by sharing stories, it's really leading to the power of community and coming together and relationships. So if you're into the chat, please keep sending things and encouraging one another. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Becky.
Should I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so my story is taking me about you choose to you choose to not believe what people tell you. You choose to be what you are. So I know who I'm gonna go as, and I go as my username DS, which is the taking my initials to my first and last name, DS, Younger Scott. This is who I will go by. And basically the reason I will go by who I am because I have a voice, the ability to speak and control myself without others controlling me, because that is life. Life is the biggest thing you have to occupy for yourself. The key is to having full motivations in you, knowing that when you start off from nothing, you being known for who you are, and then you fail. And then you get back up. And then you might fail again. And then you get back up. And then you get right back up. No matter how many times you fail to complete a mission, you tell me it's always about getting back up. It's all about staying up, even if it's worth killing yourself, jumping through hoops, and worth anything from the struggles. Next page. All right, knowing the epitome is really the topic of making your soul happy. It may not look like I'm a kid that didn't have anything in the past, but I look puny. But in case that the help that I will have to get, and also I would need. Also, what if you need energy to defeat your enemies that gets in your way? I say that I would like to start singing as a beginner, and people be like, "Oh, you cannot sing," but mind you, days and months that goes by, I've been practicing with skills and a website that helped me along the way, and I start trying again. What will people think about that? Is because it's technically their opinion. Life is short and difficult. Not everything's going to go the way it should go, in the way that we want, what we expect, or even it's not going to go the way it should be. Sometimes we fail, we get back up, and over and over and over again. And what really stands out to me the most, that I consider myself as a gamer, that's who I am, and no one's going to tell me otherwise because due to the fact that they can't tell me who I am, I can tell myself because I am myself. I just want to be well known. I don't want to be famous. There's a difference. There's a difference. Like I said, for like all you people that need to hear this, I got y'all. This should be the right sword for y'all, and there you're having motivation. Happy Motivation Exclusive Week, DeAndre D.S. Scott.
Thank you so much, DS. I loved your story, and I want to just highlight that one of the things that you said really like resonated with me. You said, I get to choose who I am because I have a voice, and I love that message, and I just want to lift that up and thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right. So, I mean, how amazing were all of our students who shared today? We had some students from all over the city. And so all of them very unique, very different presentations, just kind of to get everyone's thoughts flowing on what Inclusive Schools Week is. And even though the week ends tomorrow, the work doesn't end tomorrow, right? All of this work, we should all take back. We should all take it back to our schools and continue the work, right? So as part of that, one of the things we do every year at the summit is we take a pledge. And I want to invite Jackie Oakenbarney from Parents for Inclusive Education to come on camera and guide us through that pledge that we take every year.
Hey guys, thank you so much for everyone who's here today. These were such inspiring stories and so great to hear individual ideas as well as hearing about other people who have disabilities who have made a difference in our world. This has been incredibly amazing, and thank you all for participating today. I also just want to say a quick thank you to the DOE for continuing to allow Parents for Inclusive Education to work with the DOE to make this event possible every year, even in the years that we can't come together as a community. I look forward to seeing you all in person next year. So before we leave, we need to all do the pledge as we do every year. It's on the screen. I invite you to all take yourself off mute so we can all do the pledge together. If you can't come off mute, and let's do the pledge. And the pledge is, I pledge
to accept,
include
all ability, including my peers with disabilities. Inclusion starts with me.
Yeah, that was amazing. So much. I can't wait to hear your schools, all the wonderful work that you take back to your school and your classrooms and your communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I was just saying, like this work started this week, but it doesn't end this week. And so we want you all to continue to engage by looking at the activities throughout the school year. The link is here, bit.ly/NYC inclusion. And we want you to encourage collaboration with students with and without disabilities. This work about inclusion is not about only for students with disability. It's about bringing everyone together and doing the work. We want you to record videos and share your inputs on the Flipgrid and Padlet so that we know what's going on throughout the year and we can check in. And so make sure that you comment on other people's work and their videos and messages on the Flipgrid and Padlet. And keep the work going. We're going to be checking in with you all throughout the year so that we can get ready to prep our expo for May, and where we will come back and check in and say, all right, what did y'all do on inclusion this year? Share it with us. So that is what's going on. Thank you everyone for joining. I want to kick it back over to Christina for some closing thoughts. Christina, what did you think about all of our student presenters today?
Well, I can tell you that I am sitting over here on this end of the screen, absolutely beaming. To our students, you all have proven once again that you are absolutely, by and far, hands down, the best part of this work. And you are the true leaders of this work, and you inspire those around you, and certainly all of us, to keep pushing ahead each day. So we are so very proud of you and so grateful for all that you showcased today. And certainly thank you to all the adults that supported that process as well. We are just, this has been a wonderful, wonderful way to spend the morning. And we are just so grateful to each of you.
Thank you, Christina. And again, one last thank you to everyone who joined today to make today possible. Thank you to everyone, all the teachers who worked with students to make sure that they had an opportunity to share. And thank you all for joining who are going to continue the work and do the work in your schools. If you have any questions at all throughout the year, you can always email inclusionsummit@schools.nyc.gov. But until next time, stay safe, everybody, and keep the inclusion work going. Have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone.